Hey everyone, it's Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. This is our Mattitude live stream where we talk about, you guessed it right, Eurovision. And I'm hoping you had a wonderful week and a wonderful evening. We had a bunch of shows that we got to watch together. And now, even better, we get to talk about it. So, sup y'all? I'm so glad you're here. Ali H is in the chat. Mr. Winters TS, so bind. So I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I tried. So yes, it has been an evening with several shows and as well as news that happened throughout the week, and of course in the upcoming week. I'm here to talk as well and take you through this whole thing. Let's do this together. We'll talk about it, and then you get to ask me questions, share your comments. As always, at ES United in the chat. That is the easiest way so I can see them. Also, if you want to support us, you can either become a member here on YouTube and support us as a supporter. You can go to Patreon, or you can give us super chats as well to help us pay for this very expensive journey that's called Eurovision. But anyways, let's jump right into it, because one of the shows that we had tonight was the third and final semi-final heat situation in Norway. There were 7 songs battling it out. 3 of them moved on to the grand final. 4 of them have been eliminated. We already had a couple of shows this past couple of weeks, so now we are basically done with that particular stage of the show. Before I go into the details, here's a very quick snippet of my initial ranking that was pre-live show. And spoiler alert, the results did not turn out as I expected them to be, but you'll see. Look, this is just not my kind of music. There isn't much to say here, and I'm all in favor of another drag queen at Eurovision. It's been a minute, but it is such a generic anthem. I was really waiting for this ballad to wash me away, and like I expected a proper build, but then it was never strong enough for me to truly feel it. Adel's confidence is admirable, calling the song masterpiece. I like the mix between the hard techno beat and then the fun traditional instruments in the chorus. That is probably my favorite part. I appreciate Someday. It has a fun, unique feel. It's perfect for the Eurovision masses. Absolutely the kind of sound that worked in 2016 with Margaret Cool Me Down. So yeah, that was my ranking from last to first based on the performances. I was this close, so close with the actual results. But that's just a person, and honestly, watching the show, actually, some of the results have been a little bit surprising, but some of them it's understandable because the performances were quite impressive. So let's take a look first at the 3 qualifiers of the evening. As you can see, it is confusing that 3 at the top, Skrillex, Eileen Thorpe, and Atle Pedersen, are through. That means Akuvi, Tyrell, Stig, Van Eyck, and Maria Celine are out. And you can honestly say that this was a major, major surprise. Akuvi and Maria Celine were the clear fan favorites and betting odds favorites. So seeing both of them eliminated is a very big surprise. As a matter of fact, I posted my reaction here as well on YouTube in YouTube Shorts. Check that out. It was as genuine as humanly possible because I was definitely surprised myself. So basically what happened was the Norwegian audience clearly did not agree with what the polls and the fans were thinking initially. Of course, there are always exceptions, and sent those 3 songs through. So as a reminder, here's a clip, a quick snapshot of the qualifiers from all 3 heats. Alessandra, Umami Tsunami, and who was the third? I'm blanking right now. Alessandra, Umami Tsunami, and Ulrike. Those 3 individuals, excuse me, qualified from the first heat. Then Yone, Swing It, and Elsibe from the second heat. And now, as you know, the other 3 from tonight are also it. So these will battle it out. And in case you don't remember the songs, here's a very short recap of it, and then we'll talk it through. Once again, as always, Eurovision Vistia, thank you so much for this wonderful work. All I do is have to click on it, so I want to give you the credit where it's due. So you have here the results. So let's talk this through. First, of course, tonight's show, you saw my quick recap of my initial top 7 based on the studio version. My bottom 2 initially actually qualified, and then my 4th place also qualified. So my initial top 3 all out. So as you can imagine, not the way I anticipated this to go. That being said, here's the thing. Maria's song, one of the fan favorites. Went after the performance, I was getting nervous. As I thought, well, it's too popular of a song to not qualify. But I also thought that this was an underwhelming performance, and it doesn't matter what you do on stage. When you don't sound good, even with autotune, something's up. And so I was getting really nervous for that one. It personally dropped out of my top 3 as well. And taking her place at that point was Adle in the end. That was a fantastic performance. And I will never know, so I can make that claim easily. I think he won the semi. I thought that he had the strongest performance and the song that just, I think, had the biggest appeal. And I grew very smitten with it. And I'm very happy that he qualified. I was surprised, also, just like most people, that the other favorite, Kuvi with Triumph, did not make it. I said before, this particular semi to me is not as, let's just say, I don't feel as strongly about this semi. It was probably to me the ones with the least exciting entries. So this was probably my pre-favorite. Also dropped a little. I still thought it was gonna go through only because it seems like such a crowd pleaser. At the same time, I'm also now thinking about it, it was maybe just a tad too generic because we've all heard it before. I've been talking about it sounds like Cool Me Down for Margaret. Some people were saying, no, it reminds me completely of Wild, the song. Like everyone has heard the song before, and I think it just didn't stand out enough for it to go through. So it was a big hot mess, and the prediction for me were certainly completely different than what I thought could happen. So even though it was a surprise to a certain extent, I'm also not completely floored. I can see where the audience is coming from. There were two other people on social media who agreed with me. We all had actually stick high up in our ranking. We all loved Stick someday, but we all knew that this was not going to happen. Although, when it came down to Stick and Skrillex as the third and final qualifier, I was like, oh my God, can it be Stick? Can it be Stick? And then it didn't happen. Now, a lot of people are surprised about, I think Skrillex is for most people the biggest surprise. And to me, I still think it's Eileen Thorpe. That song is, bless her heart, she did well. She sounded good, and that's very important. But the song to me is nothing. It's probably my least favorite now in the running. It was my least favorite in the semi, so it shouldn't come as a surprise. So to me, this is still the biggest. What am I missing here? Skrillex, even though I didn't think it would be enough, I can complete. It was energy-wise and visually really, really good. I mean, that was how you do it. That is how you do it live, and I'm happy for Skrillex. So I can completely see where they are coming from. I still think that I like other songs better, but I cannot be mad at that. And that's all that matters, right? We're happy for anyone that qualifies. Now that we have the 9 songs that we discussed, I'm going to ask you in a second as well. Who, give me both. Number 1, who you think will win, and number 2, who you want to see win. And if it lines up, that's great. But for me, I will say, as of right now, but it's not a certainty, I still think Ulrike is the one to beat. I think she sounds amazing, and it looks amazing, and the juries will fall over that one. Because they're reintroducing them, right? I still, Queen of Kings to me, Alessandra. I just think this is a banger. I would love for that one to go through. I would not be sad for Ulrika, of course. But that is my personal opinion. Jessica V agrees with me. I think Ulrika and I want Alessandra. That's me. Ulrika both. HSL, TSL saying Alessandra will win, but I want Elsie. Oh, interesting. That is a little different approach there. Let me put this one on here because there's a little bit more context here. The smartest choice is to take Ulrike. The song is good enough to qualify at the final. There'll be juries, and she could make top 5 with them, but I think they will pick Alessandra. I mean, I think it'll be between Ulrike and Alessandra at this point, but we've seen surprises before, right? I mean, last year it was like, what happened? I mean, the winners were not as surprising, but the rest was to me. So, yeah, I still think that, I mean, the song from the second group, I forgot the name, Yone, Echo Ini Meg, will not do well with the juries, but if this one is going to do top 2 with the televoters, I think this is a dark horse. It's in Norwegian, so it's unlikely, but this song is going big. Was it on TikTok or Spotify? Some on Spotify, right? It's going really, really big. So I can see this one actually making the at least the second round of voting. So I do have a little bit of an eye on that as well. So that's what this person said as well. Johnny is definitely a dark horse getting traction on Spotify. That's what it was. I remember that. Yes. So it is certainly a possibility, but the nice thing is, at least, especially after tonight, it'll be nothing will be certain, and it is a little bit too early to go into all the specifics of this. But for the funds of it, I am gonna go to the odds here right now and see who is going to be the winner. Ulrike is still currently in the lead with 44% of a winning chance. Alessandro is at 27%, and Yane is now climbing in 3rd place at the 3rd. Elsie Bay number 4, Eileen Thorpe number 5, Atle Pedersen 6, Skrillex 7, Swing at 8, and Umami Tsunami number 9. So this will all, of course, shift a little bit up and down, but I don't anticipate the winner, though I shouldn't say the winner, but the betting odds leader to change. I think Ulrike is the one to beat, but is she beatable? I think so. I do think that she is certainly in the running. So that is interesting. So I would love to hear from you as well, your thoughts at ESC United. Do you think that the 2 surprise non-qualifiers from tonight, Akuvi and Maria, are justified, unfair, or can you see where the televoters were coming from? Let me know, because it is always very interesting. And if I don't see a post right away, you can always repost. Borkicha Avinora, Freya not qualifying is a good thing for Alessandra and or Yane. People who like this type of songs will switch their votes probably towards Alessandra or Yane. That is a good point. If you're a fan of one of those two songs, which I like both of them, I think that is certainly a good thing. So I'm sure they're sitting at home like, yes, strike. Although we never know how things will pan out. And it is to me still one of the strongest lineups in quite some time, this national final. So there will be a lot of songs that will be left behind, that already have been left behind, that deserved a little bit more in my book. But it is going to be interesting. I will notice. And there's one post that I'm trying to find, but it already scrolled past me here. But someone was saying that the autotune was especially notable tonight. I will agree with that. And I'm a little bit worried about that during the live Eurovision. The broadcaster NRK keeps saying, well, we all tested them and blah, blah, blah. They will be fine. We shall see. But I'm less worried about it. That's not always a choice, but that they will at some point actually introduce that autotune at Eurovision, which would be devastating. I'm already devastated about the backtrack that you no longer have to have live backup vocals. That's already a huge downgrade in the quality of Eurovision. But that is just me, and that is probably another story. There's an interesting comment I would like to highlight here as well. I fear Adley could pull a Tix and win ESC United. So I hear what you're saying, but I remember Tix was just so big in Norway, and he just won based on popularity. And I think there was a disconnect between the Eurovision bubble and Norwegian crowds, because Tix was immensely popular and the song was going so big already. So there was already a significant popularity, plus Tix being so popular. I'm not in Norway, so I don't know how popular Atle is, but someone can certainly tell me about this. So I agree. Somebody else I mentioned, Johnny, is probably more likely to pull the Tix. I could see that happening. And honestly, as sad I would be not to see either Ulrike or Alessandra at No Eurovision, it would be so fun and refreshing to once again have the Norwegian language at Eurovision, because I like languages, and they need to be rewarded, and maybe gives more encouraging vibes and tendencies for other acts to sing in their language. So it is going to be a little it's going to be fun, it's going to be interesting, and I can't believe we're getting closer to the grand final. And we'll talk about, of course, what's upcoming the next week in the Eurovision world in just a little bit. The boomers love Atle. Somebody is saying that is funny to me. True, the boomers count for something. Don't always just think about the young folks, because keep in mind, a lot of the so-called young music, for the lack of a better word, kind of fell apart today, right? None of the songs that you qualified were considered necessarily on paper as the Gen Z music, for the lack of a better term. So yes, it is certainly interesting. Oh, very good point brought up here. Bold of you to assume they won't translate Echo Inni Meklik. Sweden did it with every Swedish winner post 1998. That is true. I don't know if they will. Then why would they have it in Norwegian in the first place? Do they have a quota, and that's the only way they got into it? But to be fair, how many songs in Swedish have won in Melodifestivalen post the year 2004, I think, right? Because back then they still had these weird rules and things have changed. But since 2005, I'm trying to think if there is a song in Melodifestivalen that has won in Swedish. I think Invincible was already in Swedish, right? But that's 2006. But we're talking about over 15 years, even if that were to be the case. But ever since I've been watching Melodifestivalen, which I think was 2009, it was always an English song that has won. So I think that was Sweden 2006 was the last one, plus the name. And things are very different in this day and age, right? So there is but going back to your point, Yes, there is a chance that they translate it. I hope not, because I find that always a cop out and cheating almost, because that is part of the charm. But it is certainly a possibility. But I'm hoping that is not going to happen. Um, let's see here. I know decent Norwegian, and this language doesn't sound good with most songs, but Echo Inimek is just the perfect song for it, and I really hope they don't change it to English. That is correct. Actually, I do think but that's just me. I love languages. Any language to me sounds interesting and fun. People always say, Dutch is such an ugly language. I enjoy Dutch. Yeah. You have to sometimes, certain words get a little guttural. I understand that, but you can still make it really, really pretty. So I am not too concerned. But this was a very fun show, and I'm glad that we have the finalists. And even though none of the songs from tonight will be like my favorites, that maybe gives my favorites a better chance. But as always, whoever wins, I uh I'm going to be happy for them. Maybe momentarily disappointment when your favorite doesn't make it, but that is just normal. So that is what we have in Sweden. See, now I got stuck on Sweden. In Norway. Lithuania also had a show tonight, but that one literally just ended right at the end here before I went live. So I don't have any videos or clips on it, and it was very, very difficult for me to follow through with that show as well. But I did. And one thing why it is not as interesting, the semis or the heats in Lithuania, besides just getting to know the songs, you have 15 songs and only 5 are eliminated. Means you have 10 out of 15 songs qualify. And I'm like, why bother? Then we still have, 20 songs for the final? Or for the next heat? Oh gosh, it is just a little much. So for instance, the song that came in 10th place last week was Lukne Paradise. 3 points from the juries, 0 points from the televote, and still qualified. I'm like, so as long as you get like a few points, you are safe. It's just insanity to me. So this time around, the clear favorite though was Beatrix Like a Movie. That got 12 points from the jury and 12 points from the televote. That means for once they actually agree on the right song. Oh, on the same song, whether it's the right song, that's up for debate. So on paper, you would think this is the one to beat, although that is not always how traditionally it went in the finals. We've seen quite a few changes there. The televoters and juries completely had different opinions on Agne New Start. 0 from the juries, 10 from the televote. So that is odd, right? But Monica Linkice Stay came in second place, 10 from the juries, 8 from the televote. We remember her from 2015, where she performed with Vidas this time, and she's trying again. We'll see. Another familiar face was Gabrasi, but even though he qualified, it doesn't look good for him. He got no points from the televote and 6 points from the juries. That was enough to squeeze through. But whether or not it's going to survive any or like a shot at winning, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. So that was definitely a surprise. Has anyone watched Lithuania? Let me know in the chat at ESC Night what you thought. I will say that even though I don't have the clips ready right now, the first semi was way weaker. This semi, there were songs that I thought were melodically way more likable, and I'm glad that that is happening. There were, and forgive me because I was getting ready for the live stream, but there were the last 5 songs, I think, of the night. There were several. I think the winner is one of the last 5 songs of the night. There were like 3 songs. I'm like, okay. So, but I don't remember. Maybe it was like a movie that I liked the most as well. But it happened so fast. So that is we'll see. What do you say? So Gabrasi set himself a bar tonight back in 21. Honestly, I mean, my love goes out to him because he really wants to go to Eurovision. Clearly, his music though has never been really my taste per se. And again, emphasis on taste. People like some of his entries, and they were not bad, but they're always just kind of in the middle for me. And yeah, so I cannot say it was outstanding. We got a Lithuania in the room, Renata. It was very disappointing, all of the songs. I hope Ruta Mur or Gabrielius will win the whole thing. Thank you for pointing that out. Here's the thing with Lithuania, especially over the last few years. I'm never like super smitten or per se with the quality of Lithuania national final, but for some reason they managed to pick really good songs in the end. So whatever is there, the good song, they know how to pick the right one. So, and I need to listen to them again. But I think it'll be a probably downgrade from last year, which was just a beautiful song. And The Roop was one of my favorite acts of that year. It's probably my number one from 21. So Lithuania has been so high up in my ranking. Tough act to follow. So give other countries a chance as well, will you? But yeah, so that was very interesting. Iamanta says, I want either Ruta, Monica, or Paula to go to Eurovision from Lithuania. The thing is, I'm trying to remember. Is Lithuania sometimes doing revamps of the songs? I don't think so, right? They usually just, this is what it is, take it or leave it. So we'll see. But yeah, it's going to be I think it's going to be a surprise winner. So I was like, Lithuania's transparency with the votes makes the whole heat semifinal process so boring because we basically know the two songs fighting for the win immediately. Exactly. That is true. Transparency is good, but I think you can still do transparency without spoiling it. You know, they can always show it at the end. And the results, the way they show them is so anticlimactic. It's just like, oh God, don't do that. But yeah, transparency is great, but I would do it once the results are known. Whatever they do in Sweden with Melodifestivalen, you know, a little bit based on, who's qualified first and all that stuff, depending on what it is. But in even Norway right now, we don't know who came first. So it doesn't influence people as much. But yeah, so this is what we have in Lithuania. We still have a little bit to go. The results are like a PowerPoint, Mr. I think it may actually be. That is too funny. So then we had the very, very long audition process in Moldova, which always seems like your neighbors and all your friends and your coworkers go on stage and perform the song that they just have written as they were getting ready, and then they just have to narrow it down. The Moldovan selection process is always fascinating. Last year was almost the same, but they had to cut it short because of everything that was going on in the world. And so they picked it internally in the end. But this time they listened to all the 489 songs that were in Moldova. And then they actually somehow, somewhere managed to pick a top 10, I guess, that are still in the running. Let's have a listen.
To you, don't be afraid when they're surreal. Tell me down. Tell me down. I wanna dance with you tonight. You are so bright, only you. With you I feel so high like a bird in the sky. La 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 Why you play cool? Why you play cool? Yummy, mommy, you got me running. Butterflies in my tummy, got me spending all the money on you. Yummy, mommy, you got me running. Butterflies in my tummy. No matter what the force, so let the ground beneath me shake. Pray my bones begin to ache, but I won't fall. I'm indestructible.
So there you have it. Those were just a little snippet of what's to come. Once again, they had like 30 songs on the running, and that is what was left. You probably saw some familiar faces in the running, including Aliona Moon, who represented the country back in 2013, was also a backup singer in 2012 for Pasha Parfeni, who's also as an artist in the running this year again. And he's tried before in the past to return. This time he's singing well, they can always translate it as well. And Sunstroke Project, the most successful act from Moldova, is back, and probably one of the more memorable acts as well, because Epic Sax Guy from 2010 became a big deal, and then Hey Mama coming third. It's just, they are such a memeable act. They are trying it again. So we don't know, of course, who's going to win and if there's going to be a revamp, but I would love to hear from everyone as well in the chat at ESC United. Not sure if you listened to the whole songs yet or just the snippets, but what stood out to you the most? To me, I will say 2 songs stood out to me the most. One of them maybe is the most obvious one. Sunstroke Project, I think, has the best product in there, and I think with a little bit of revamp and proper staging, they always can turn around. It's a decent song. I don't know if it's as good as some of the prior efforts, but I mean, Yummy Mummy. Oh, hey, mama, yummy mummy. They just love to sing about mummy and mamas. I don't know. It's just funny to me. Also, I've noticed one of the guys either quit or left. I don't know what happened there, but they're down to 2. Or he couldn't make it today. I should probably look that up. So that would be the obvious choice to me. There is that band, the Ladies, which the White Voice song, which reminds me a little bit of Tulia. That's actually quite charming as well. Not having juries in the semis could work in their favor. At the same time, I think there are many 2 la la las in there, so that could be certainly an issue. I do see that the that's what I'm talking about. The Moldovan granny should win. First of all, they're not that old. They're middle-aged, right? So but I hear what you saying. And but yeah. Sunstroke Project and MILF Hunters. Duh. You figured out the piece of the puzzle that I was missing. Yes, that's probably what it is. So it is certainly and it's hard sometimes. The thing is with Moldova, they always come with something like, oh, that's not going to happen. And then they qualify and do quite well, whether it's staging or just as music clicks. They are always the most overlooked country, right? It happened last year, happens almost every single year. Even I myself sometimes underestimate them. And but that doesn't mean it is always going to work. Sebastian, what did you think about Norway Semi-3? You probably must have joined just a minute ago because we already talked about Norway. It was the biggest surprise of the year is what I said. So we'll talk about it more at the end if you want to stick around. We are going back to the open Q&A session at that point. But yeah, so that is what's happening in Moldova. And we'll see where that is going to take us. What else happened in the Eurovision world? Yes. So most of you know that I was born in Germany. I came over to the US when I was, young enough. And so I always will have a close tie to that country. So they released their national final songs. They're going to have 9, only 8 are known because they're going to have another TikTok selection for the 9th wildcard one. That'll be, I think, announced in a week or so. But in the meantime, I hope you had a chance to listen to the songs in the running because, it's Germany and you always have the lowest of lowest expectations. I did a reaction video. I'm not going to completely spoil it for you. Well, we're going to talk about some. We'll have to spoil a little. So here's a quick recap of some of my reactions. Okay, this is a strong melody and a good voice, nice shoes. Not what I expected from Germany. Not a traditional German instrument, at least not where I'm from. Is this Korean pop? I'm getting a little bit more of BLT, not BLT. That's bacon lettuce tomato sandwich. BTS. You know what vibe I'm getting here? Green Day. all day for me. I'm a Green Day fan. Low-key song that will heavily rely on the performance and the emotion. It's not a very in-your-face kind of entry. I'm so excited because apparently it's the only German song in the running, which is unfortunate. Hopefully they'll learn from Finland and make it like half-half. If I had to go by previous years and what Germans vote for, I could see Renee Miller winning with Concrete Heart. It seems very German. Yeah. So those are some of my reactions. This is not my ranking, but if you don't want to have it spoiled to watch my video, tune out now because we're going to talk about it a little bit. But yeah, so the German national final to me is a significant upgrade. I think there are a bunch of good options in there. I'm actually a little bit disappointed that there are so many people on social media saying this is just as bad or just not that good. I'm like, this is better than some other national finals we've seen so far. I'm not saying it's the best of the best, but there are some really good options in there. So I personally am very happy with what we have. Of course, leave it up to the Germans to pick sisters again. And that is my biggest fear here. But in terms of options, at least it is way more exciting and interesting than what we had last year because we knew no matter what they would pick, it would be a disappointment. So I would love to hear from you who your favorites are. So, oh my God, Liam Fallon. Wasn't it instrument hurdy hurdy gurdy? I get that reference. Hurdy hurdy gurdy. I assume that's what you're talking about. I don't know about Germany. I think the songs are all 7 out of 10 with Misfit at an 8.10. I don't mind any of them. See, again, I'll tell you my personal favorite, and it will be more polarizing. And I always say polarizing is usually a good thing at Eurovision because, you cannot vote against the song. But to me, it was all about Lord of the Lost, Blood and Glitter. I am absolutely into that one. That is my clear favorite, and I would all about seeing that one win. It'll not work for everyone, and it'll have a lot of haters, but you will stand out, and I think this will go big in the televote if done right. I absolutely think this has a little bit of a Rammstein vibe to me, but more glittery because glitter. But it's just like they have a little bit of a glam rock feel to them, and I'm usually gravitating towards that quite a bit. And I think it is definitely a good melody. Let me see here. Any thoughts on Germany? Remember at ESC United, so I can see them. Quick reminder that Germany had Where You Love and Lily Among Clouds and chose Sisters in 2019. I'm worried about them choosing incredibly wrong. Well, so am I. That's why I said leave it up to them to mess it up. It really comes down to who the producers make them lean towards because they are always very slick. They wanted Sisters to win so bad, so that's why they added them last minute, put it at the end, and did this very favorable clip right before the song, just trying to win. It was so BS, and that was really annoying. So someone's saying here, like, the songs are bad. The only one I wouldn't mind seeing at Eurovision is Frida Gold. I don't agree with that. I mean, that's your opinion. Apparently, a lot of people agree with that. I was very surprised. I thought this is really good, this selection. Better than some of the others that I've seen so far. So, plus, I'm very much into Lord of the Lost. Very much so. So that's probably why I'm extra excited. But I'm also mentally preparing myself for the loss. Yeah, any other thoughts at ESC United when it comes to that? This person is saying the Melodies song is my favorite. The Melody song. Oh, that's the song that's called Melodies of Hope. Petty Gurdy, right? Yeah. So a lot of people will like that one. I like this well enough. Are there others I personally like better? Of course. But here is saying one of the TikTok selection songs called 1010. It's a 10 out of 10 by Jonah. Actually has 5 million streams on Spotify. I wonder if that is then certainly the shoe-in to win it all. I don't know. I have not listened to the clips yet because I just I was traveling for a week. So I'm back home now. So I'm still playing catch up. I listened to the Norwegian songs before, the German ones, and the Moldovan. So now the 2 shows today. So it's been rough. RJ saying, I think Blood and Glitter has the biggest chance for Germany to get a good result. I concur. Yes, I definitely agree with that as well. I think they would have the best shot. That's very interesting. I didn't realize that by Jeffrey. The show starts at 22:30 German time. Doesn't seem like they tried hard to getting it on the prime time. Oh my god, why would they do it so late? But hey, maybe it's a short show, just an hour and a half, that I'm by midnight. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that is a little disappointing, but we shall see. But I'm super excited about it, and it's a major upgrade for me. And if the Lord of the Lost wins, then I'm over the moon. Then I will be absolutely over the moon. What else happened though? Oh yes. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but next week, Benidorm Dorm Fest in Spain. I already reacted to all songs. I also did my ranking. But just as a reminder, we're gonna have the semifinals. Let's start with the first one again. Quick recap from Miska Jovicia. And then we'll talk it through real quick, and I'll tell you my personal favorites.
Que ha vuelto a amanecer, la luz me ayuda a ver. Yo quisiera parar el tiempo, pero no puedo. More than we dance now, I'm losing myself to un eco de amor. Flamenco, te busco y te encuentro, me das yo me acerco a tu corazón. Mírate con orgullo, mírate que me duele la carita. Ay, lo guapa que la tengo, me ha dicho mi abuelita. Abandonadas, buscamos la salida, lluvia de largas, alejandrina, ardidas de amor. Y si me miras se me acaba el tiempo. Puedes evitar the air and feel the stars. Mira, no, mira, no, mira, no, míralos como tú aquí, ey. Pero no, pero no, pero no.
I said these are the 9 songs that are in the running in Spain. And in case you did not know, out of the 9 songs, 4 will qualify for the final. There will be a 50% jury vote, a 25% demoscopic jury, and then 25% televote. And it is going to be interesting. I'm sure it's going to be a nail biter. And when you look at the betting odds, there is no clear favorite. It's like this is going to be a crazy, crazy situation, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to tell you the 4 songs, if it were up to me, would qualify in no particular order, real quick. And then I would love to hear from you as well, who, based on, studio version, we know that the live performance will change things. So the 4 songs that I will pick from this one is probably one of the Eurovision bangers, but it is fun and certainly at least deserves to be in the finals, is Agony or Agony. I do think, as I point out, it has the Mika Ben David vocals, but with a Maruv, what's the name, from Ukraine sound to it. So therefore improving both versions of the song, because Maruv was not a good singer, but Mika was, but the song was not quite as strong. So this one found like a healthy balance. It's a great banger and would go big at Eurovision, I'm sure. So I just really enjoy that one. But I want Alice Wonder has to be in the finals. I love that song to pieces. One of the most breathtakingly beautiful ballads in the running. It's just, it would be such a unique, it's a feel, and the juries would love it for sure. And this one, even though it's very quiet, I could see easily a lot of televoters connecting with it as well. It could be a Salvador Sobral moment to me. The third one, again, no order. I want to see through is Fusa Nocta Mi Familia, just such an awesome, unique piece, and would just really stand out. Worried about the Jews. I think they're allowed to win, but at the bare minimum, it has to be in the finals. I am absolutely fond of that one as well. And then you have to have Arcadia by Megara in there. You have to. This song's amazing. I'm like, I can't even get enough of it. It is absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's just that simple. Nothing else to say. Those were the 4 songs that I would choose. I see Arcadia's being mentioned here. Agni would be my, so it's Flamenco is my favorite. Yes, and someone's saying that's very important. The betting odds have the top 9 within 6% of each other. It just comes down to who has more money to put down, so it is not. There's no clear favorite. And this is what Ali H agreed. As long as Alice one that gets through, I'll be happy if she's good live. Anyway, people promise me that she's a great live performer and not to worry about that. So I believe that and hope for that as well. So that will take place as well. And then shortly after, of course, we will have the second semifinal taking place. So they're just going to go boom, 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 just to be done with this. They're going to be all late shows, of course. But before we move on, let's have a listen quickly to the recap as well.
Todo lo que era ahora es algo nuevo. Todo a ras de tierra está
Lagrimita del hilo, no te pena. Mi niña, cuando me muera, que me enteren en la luna y te.
Yeah, you're flying and riding way higher. 'Cause then I go better than you. Showing my move. I'm a savage.
Que la luna, todo lo que pisa, todo lo que toca, lo controla. Que la luna, cuando va a la pista y algo se le antoja. Los que no pueden tocarse sin su otra mitad, sin su otra mitad. Recuerdo nunca se va, y no te reías al bailarme. Tu recuerdo nunca se irá.
Y a que te vuelva a levantar. ¿Y qué más vas a hacer si el viento te está llamando? Si la hoguera no se apaga y no sabes a qué volver. Y
Hay una cola que te da, pero ven con quien quieras. Noche ochentera, toda la noche entera.
There you have it. Those are the songs from Semi 2. Once again, 4 of them will go through, and sharing my personal 4 qualifiers. Again, pre-live performance. Definitely Blanca Paloma is just a beautiful, hauntingly beautiful, unique piece. It deserves all the respect and appreciation, and I hope it'll make the cut. I'm just in the mood for Famous's La Lola, very football anthem-y song, not for everybody, but I'm feeling it. I'm absolutely feeling it. I'm enjoying it. And that one, I'm hoping at least going to make it to the end, to the finals. Really beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. Jose Otero's, how beautiful is that song? Oh, I would not be sad even that were to win. This is so beautiful. And if this doesn't go through, then I will start a protest. Because I will be in Barcelona in March for the party. And in case you're going to be there, let's meet up. So I would like to see that one through as well. And then Vico Nocentera gives me a little bit of Imama vibes. So that was my favorite last year. So I certainly would love to see that one through as well. So this we're on paper right now. Again, may change if they suck live. But That's how I feel. Oh, how funny. That's exactly how I feel. I was just saying. Vico is my favorite, most similar to I'm Mama from last year, which was my clear favorite. If I'm Mom, I mean, clearly they made the right choice in terms of like, overall success at Eurovision with Slow Mo. But I'm Mama would have been my number one last year in the ranking. I love that song so much. And the performance was so fun. But anyways, I agree with that as well. And that's probably why I'm gravitating towards that one. And someone saying, I've been listening to Noche Entera a lot, not realizing it was in Benfest. Is that a potential like good thing here? Like, could this song actually win? It is so hard to guess because the juries and televoters had a good amount of disagreement last year in Spain, so that could happen again, and then somebody else squeezes past because it's just they cannot agree. But overall, this is such a fantastic lineup. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good this is, and Spain is now a powerhouse, right? Can we call them a powerhouse at Eurovision? Well, maybe we would wait another year. After this year, pick a good song. They're gonna do well at Eurovision, and then they're a powerhouse. After 1 year, maybe it's a little too early. So yes, these all will take place over the next week. Let me just bring up the calendar here real quick. So the first Benidorm semifinal is on Monday. I meant Tuesday, the 31st of January. Then the second one will be 2 days later on the 2nd of February, which is a Thursday. And then 2 days later on the weekend, the 4th, a Saturday, that's when we already have Benidorm Fest next week. So we'll have the Spanish song next Saturday. I was going to say in a week from now, but they're probably not going to be. They're probably still having a show right now. But I will not have a live show probably next week on Saturday, not until Sunday because Spain runs late. But speaking of next week, we have the first official Super Saturday, I think, coming next week because number one, Norway is going to have their grand final. We'll have the Norwegian song. Slovenia, even though they're not going to have, like a show, they're going to have their song released, the Joker's Out entry. The first semifinal, Lithuania, will start because we just had heats where 10 songs from each heat moved on. They still have to narrow it down a little bit. We have Sweden, Melodifestivalen Heat 1 kicking off. How great. We have the first semifinal in Latvia and the Benidorm Fest as well. So it is just, how many screens do I need? 5 screens technically, right? Because there will be 5 live shows. But not only that, before that, on Friday, Ireland is going to pick their entry as well. Eurosong 2023, Thursday, and then on the 2nd of February, we're going to also have the Serbia songs that will be released. Austria will announce their artists on Tuesday, but other than that, nothing is happening. So it is wild, my friends. It is absolutely wild. And I like this comment here by Line, the Nosy Panda. First of all, I love your name. Let's hope there's no Benidorm Fest voting drama this year. Who am I kidding? It's Benidorm. It wouldn't be the same, right? Certain countries, whether it's Israel or Spain, they require some drama in the national final or post-drama. It's usually more the post-drama that is bigger than anything else, right? My favorite is still, though, 2017. Remember? Do it for your lover. And then Contigo, the absolute fan favorite. And then the juries come in. Yeah, but it's a tie and we still want her. Oh, and then one guy was just so corrupt. It was so bad. 2017 was so humiliatingly bad, which was reflected in the Eurovision results. They made some changes to Benidorm this year to maybe counterbalance the very extreme powers that the juries have. So we'll see if that is going to make a slight difference. Continuing with some of the other things here, there's also the Czech Republic on the 30th, which is on Monday. They actually have a real national final, not just an online one. That is crazy. But the weird part is they're not going to announce the winner until a week later, right? So that's why it's not even on the radar. And we also have the songs from Iceland that apparently were just released that I have not listened to. So if you have time after this, go and check out Iceland's music. I will do the same. Oh, somebody's mentioned France too? Likely. Okay, but it's not official yet. So we'll see about that. So I want to, Jamie Sandwich is saying, I said sandwich. Have you seen the MSC drama? Yes. If you follow me on Twitter, I did put one tweet out there as well addressing it. And basically, that one gentleman that name just escaped me. I'm bringing it up right now. One of the participants was disqualified. His name is Aiden with his song Regina. And he was disqualified because there is this rule in Malta, apparently, that you are not allowed to promote your own entry on your social media. He did that and therefore was disqualified. And now he is threatening to sue the organization for doing that because apparently he's claiming that they are not applying this particular rule consistently because there were other acts in the running as well who do promote their own song but were not disqualified. They said that they warned him a few times and he didn't stop, blah, blah, blah. But nevertheless, if I don't know if Aiden is right or not, or how it should handled. If it's not consistently applied, that would suck. On paper, they did the right thing, right? Because it's against the rules. But I did say it's the dumbest rule of them all. You can't even tweet, "Hey, watch me perform my song live at MESC, da 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 da. Vote for me." Like you cannot even do that. That is ridiculous. It's a really dumb rule. But yeah, so of course, I just mentioned like Israel and Sweden, Israel and Spain having drama. Put Malta in there almost every time they have drama in there as well. It is such a small music market, and everybody wants to perform, and it's a tightly knit group there, and it's just drama every time. So it is unfortunate what happened in Malta. I don't know what else to say. I think that's when you take part, it's kind of like you sign up for a crazy ride. And even the results, like, I don't even know how they vote for songs. I mean, I know, because they call and they have juries, but it just always seems so random. So random to me. How are we all going to survive February 11th when there's 7 finals? Oh, please. I've done this for years. That's nothing. Now, actually, that's one of the worst or best days, depending how you look at it this year. Well, wait for the 11th, though. Yeah, that's, as you said, that is even worse because we got the semifinal to Lithuania, Heat 2 Sweden, Denmark has its final, Croatia has the final, Latvia has the final, San Remo is on, Malta is happening, Istiklal final, and Romania. Oh! And I was supposed to be on vacation that day. I was supposed to go on a weekend trip. I had to cancel that yesterday. See, that's what I do for y'all. I cancel my life just to do this. Oh, Lord, have mercy. What do you think a song called Carpe Diem will sound like? Seize the Day. Where's that from? Forgive me, Jokase. Which national final? I may have listened to it and I just remember it, but I don't know. I don't know what it would sound like. It's just the song title. It's going to be interesting. MSC has really bad songs this year, to be honest. Honestly, I have not gotten to them. There's no way I'm going to listen to again all these songs. I will stick to the final probably on that one. So yeah, it is reality. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you may have about Eurovision, about what's going on with ESC United, about the national finals. Open Q&A if you have anything at ESC United. We'll put that out there as a reminder. We will be of course, in Liverpool, but we'll also be on several of the other events happening. Me personally, I will attend the Barcelona event for the 3 days. That'll be a lot of fun. And I hope that I meet some of you there. Carpe Diem is the name of the Slovenia's entry. Okay. See, I haven't even looked at that yet. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. This is a very vague statement because it could be something Carpe Diem, be cool, but it could also be very uplifting. So that's a very difficult one to predict. Are you taking questions from Twitch? You know what my problem is? I do always have Twitch on, but the last few times no one's really on there, so I never actually check there. So I should check it. But I will, yes. I don't see anything on there right now. But if you ever put, I'm going to make sure that going forward I bring up Twitch as well. We'll go from there. Portugal semi-2 reaction. When? Laura is asking. Never. No. I will try to record today or tomorrow. Now that I have Germany in, I think Portugal should be next, and then Iceland. So I probably will work on Portugal semi-2 next, and then Iceland. And oh yes, very important. Thank you so much, Opala. That was not the one I wanted to click. This one, Gonzalo. Thank you so much. Allocation draw is also happening on Tuesday. Very important. The allocation draw, we will find out where the semi participants will perform in what semi. And I already have my numbers and data ready. I did a video early on who will win Eurovision based on prior voting patterns. So I will do the same videos for the semis. Now I know who will be voting in what semi. I can create this list and see based on most recent voting patterns who will qualify. Of course, it has nothing to do with the song quality and it doesn't really represent anything, but it gives a good idea, who has maybe put a potential head start. Yeah, so I will definitely be online that day as well. So look out for plenty of videos coming there as well. All right, first, another question here. Remember, open Q&A. I believe that is Jon Hendrik Fjallgren's best shot at winning Melfest yet, seeing as the base language is English and the lack of semi-juries. What do you think? So here's the thing. There are never juries in Melody Festival and in the semis. It's always televote, and he always excels at that, right? I would love him to win. His songs are always difficult to win because he flops usually with the juries. With the televoters, he does quite well, though he's never won the televote either, but he usually does quite well, like second, third, or fourth place in the televoters. I do think if the base language this time is English, he clearly wants to make it all the way, right? It's unfortunate, but it's reality in Melody Festival in these days. I'd love for him to win. I'd love for him to win, of course. Everyone thinks it's Lorraine again, but we all know what happened the last time she took part, where she was unfairly eliminated, in my view. But that's a different story. We can talk about it. But I would love for Jon Hendrik Fjallgren to go through. I loved all his entries. I love his music. It's just my kind of thing. So it is going to be fun. Next one, Clara. Also, can we talk about Sunstroke's project winning Etapa Nacional auditions whilst the vote being 100% jury-based? Well, keep in mind, last year, Hey Ho, Let's Go, Folklore and Rock and Roll won the jury vote. And won all because it wasn't televote. They just cut it short, the whole thing. And for some reason, Moldovan juries have a different approach. And clearly it is working. So I'm not too surprised when you said that for that reason. Not saying there's any corruption thing. I really think that they just, for some reason, have a finger on the pulse for that. Next question. Matt, do you think that since there's no juries in the semis, it will change the quality of songs submitted by internal selection countries? Here's the thing. Those who don't know, forgive me, I have a dry throat. The juries will not vote in the semis this year. The reason what one of the members of the reference group said is because of the scandal from last year, and the only way to avoid that from happening again, where all the jury worked together, is to not have juries at all in the semis, which I think it's, again, you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater kind of solution. I do think that will it have an impact? I don't know. I don't know how big of an impact it'll have because there are still going to be juries in the grand final, and I think people will still take that into consideration. So that is a good thing. I still wish they would have it, only because there is a chance that people go with stuff like that. But it is true, the results in the semis haven't been outrageously different between juries and televoters, right? It's usually agreement or like one song off. 2 worst case scenario, right? So at a bare minimum, they agree on 8 out of 10, usually 9 out of 10. So that is already a good number. So I don't, of course, now we will never know how the juries would have voted. But keep in mind, there will be backup juries, of course. So they will still vote in case there's something wrong with the televote. They'll always have those in place anyways. But we'll have one less show, of course. that is interesting because previously the jury show, the second dress rehearsal, was equally as important as the live show. That is no longer going to be the case. So it's a bummer. It's a really bummer. I think it's a bad decision, but that is just me. Not that you ever would listen to me. But it's too early for me to really predict whether or not that's going to be a difference in song quality. I think it's less likely for the internal section. I would have thought it would be more likely for the televote. Vote is going to be like, whoa, let's send something crazy. I'm looking at you, Latvia, although who knows. So we'll go from that. Of all the Melody Festival acts, I'm really excited to hear Melanie Weber's entry. I think she may be the Cornelia Jacobs of 23 and will surprise people. Well, considering that I wasn't crazy about Cornelia's song per se, I don't know if I want to get the same thing again. But I hear what you're saying. As always, at ESC United, if you have any questions. Kian Lafford is saying, what do you think of Ireland's Your Song this year? Do you think RD is taking a step in the right direction? Yes. Yes, and yes. I did a video, by the way, reacting to all of the songs, so feel free to check that out. I reacted them and then also shared my favorites. I do think it's a significant improvement. It's in a similar vein as what I said about Germany. I still think there could be even more excitement there, but considering what we've had in the past, this is already like head and shoulders above what we've seen so far. I think Connolly has probably like the most Eurovision friendly song, maybe Midnight Summer Night. I think that could go really far, but I'm not gonna lie, I love Edgy Song to Good For Your Love. It's probably my personal favorite just because it's a banger and the banger that hits me right. But I'm a lot more hopeful. To be fair though, I love some of the Irish entries that didn't do well in the last few years. Well, some of them didn't even make it because 2020 did never happen. But yeah, so I'm not even as negative about all of the entries from Ireland as some of the others. So, but yeah, do you think that Czechia has some serious chance this year given the leak of Vesna's song? So, Philip, I've not listened to the leak yet, so I cannot comment on it. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I'm hearing about this because, again, I was traveling this past week, so I was a little bit out of the loop. So I don't know if there's a hype around it or this is anything like worthy talking about. But I'd love to go Czech Republic. If they were to win Prague, one of my favorite cities to visit, and it's so cheap. I love Czech Republic. I mean, I've only been to Prague and Český Krumlov, but I still love it. So yeah, that would be a dream, and I think that would be really, really exciting. Let's see here. Matt or ESC United, will you be watching the Czech national final? And if yes, will you vote in it? So here's the situation, Jokas. The problem is, most of you know by now that I live in California. So that is 9 hours ahead of the rest of the pack. So that means I will be at work. So unfortunately, I don't think I will be able to watch it live. Let me take a look what time it starts. I would assume it sounds like around 9 o'clock or so. I don't even know. So it says 9 o'clock. Yes, 9 o'clock is my noon. So that would be my lunch break. So maybe I can kind of check in for a little bit, but I will not be able to watch the whole thing live. I have to watch it afterwards. It has to be on the weekends for me to actually watch it at work. She's saying, yeah, watch it at work. You tell my boss. I'm sure they will appreciate. The good thing is I do work from home, right? For the most part. So I could put it on the side, but I have so much work to do that it's not always easy. And I'm on calls. So we shall see. But yeah, that is funny. I would love to do that. So yeah, that is basically where we're at right now. The joys of working from home. I know, right? I do travel. When I was gone last week, I was in first I was in Corona, California, and then I had to fly to Denver, Colorado, which was like, I don't even know, what is 20 Fahrenheit in Celsius? It's probably like -10 or something like that, -8. I don't know. So it was really, really cold. And someone lives here basically in Southern California. I was struggling a little, but it's always fun to travel. Call in sick, Talia. Yeah, I'm saying it on the internet right now for my boss to find out I'm calling in sick. No, I cannot call in sick. I'm already going to take vacation time for my Barcelona trip. I have to go to Eurovision. I'm taking time off there, so I have to be a little bit considerate. All right. Thomas L. Matt, any news about the American Song Contest? Do you think it's a good idea to do a second year in a row if it were to happen again? No news on it, but no news in this case is probably bad news. I don't think it's going to happen. The first one just didn't do that great. So it's unfortunate. I'm still hoping, but I'm just bracing myself. I think they should give it another shot because they need to learn from their mistakes, and they made plenty of mistakes. But yeah, so as of right now, I don't think it's going to happen, but I hope they'll prove me wrong. What is your favorite song from Estilal? My favorite song from Estilal is a song that I know is not going to win. I'll tell you in just a moment. I'm bringing my list up again. My personal favorite is House of Glass by Yannick, which I know he didn't even make it through in the first round of voting, so he needed a second round. Clearly, he's not going to be the one, but that's my clear favorite. I would have loved that one. After that, I will probably say Ollie with Venom is probably, even though it's very Nickelback, it's a fun, great song. So I would really enjoy that one. I would say after that, the Bedwetters. I like the hardest one, as you can see, quite a bit. I know that Alika Bridges is one of the favorites to win. That would be a nice song as well, but I just gravitate towards the others a little more. So that is where I'm falling. Will they allow both Sam and Kalush to perform, seeing as though Kalush won, Sam is hosting, United Kingdom is hosting on behalf of Ukraine? Yes, Faith. I mean, we don't know for sure, but there will be both there. Kalush Orchestra will be celebrated, rightfully so, and it's going to be a collaboration between the two broadcasters, so both of them will be there. I mean, why not? Right? I mean, I kind of did the same even 2019. Remember Eleni Ferreira, who came second in 2018, then was part of the show in 2019 as the Interval act. So I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Since 2016, Netherlands would have qualified on televotes for all the acts except for Waylon. Yes, that is true. And that would apply to a lot of songs. We're going back to the whole jury's not voting in the semis, right? So yeah, I can see from where you are coming from. So that is what we have for this week. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of the chat. Again, I will be posting a lot over the next week or so. I do need to eat now, though. So I hope you all have a good night. It's getting late where you are at. It's only 2:00 here, so I get to enjoy the sun a little bit. It's really nice today. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you all later.